Namaste. I'm starting a new series on understanding your true self. By the end of the series, you will gain an understanding about your real inner essence, the person you are, the authentic self. The divine expresses itself through you in one form or the other. That is certain qualities which are sattvic in nature. These qualities become a gift to the external world when you reach a certain level of spiritual growth in your Kundalini process. Every person's inner core is different. So we should never try to copy others in behavior. When we try to copy others, we get misled. Spiritual journey is about uncovering your true essence. So by the time you complete these series, you will gain an understanding into your inner essence, how the ego works inside you, how Maya keeps you caught up in this illusion of the world. You will understand your fears, your desires, your attachments better. Once you understand this, it becomes easier to come out of those behavioral patterns or thought patterns or habits or addictions that are keeping you in your lower egoic state. In today's video, or this particular video, I'll be talking about the different kind of malas that we have. I'll be talking about the seat of the soul and the difference between the seat of the soul and the Jivatma. Further, I'll be talking about the soul evolution and how it is connected with various gunas, that is, the tamas, rajas, and sattva gunas. This is the first video in the series. I'll post the links to the other parts in this series later in the description box below. When I understood that I was going through a Kundalini awakening process, I had many questions. I was seeking answers. For that reason, went into many public forums. I discussed with a lot of people to understand, to communicate, to share my experiences in the process, and to learn from others about their process so that I could be well equipped in dealing with this process. Whilst I was talking to people from different countries and cultures, I frequently heard the term the seat of the soul. I was told that the seat of the soul is in the pineal gland here in the Agnya Chakra. This concept, the seat of the soul, was something new to me. I could not understand or wrap my mind around this concept. As far as I knew, the Jeevathma, that is the individual consciousness, which is part of the divine consciousness. This is something like if you compare the divine consciousness or the universal consciousness to a sea, then the individual consciousness is one drop of that sea. Each one of us are one drop of that universal consciousness. And the divine is expressed through us through this individual consciousness. Or we are a replica of the universal consciousness and we hold within ourselves the divine vibration of the universal consciousness. And this individual consciousness, it rests two digits right to the heart. Even Ramana Maharshi used to talk about this Jivatma, which is there in each one of us. So this led to the confusion within my head as to what the seat of the soul meant and how it was different from the Jivatma. It took me a while through my experience when my Kundalini ascension, it progressed further and it moved into Agnya Chakra. That is when I understood the difference between the seat of the soul and the Jivatma. The term soul here in the seat of the soul means the being devoid of fears, desires, karmic baggage, who is free of behavioral loops or attachments, which keep that person caught up in the lower egoic state. The person has come out of all this conditioning. And by the time that person comes out of all this conditioning, he is only expressing his authentic self. And when this happens, the person's Kundalini Shakthi is now working from the level of the Agya Chakra. That is when the person is nearly out of the cycles of life and death. He has come out of his conditioning, the ego that was controlling him to a large extent. And now he feels free. He understands how the external world or the Maya is playing him. He understands how his own behavioral loops and patterns are keeping him stuck in the lower egoic state. He understands suffering comes from the mind. And now he's gone beyond all this, he's gone beyond the mind also. So now on this person, suffering has no effect. The Maya does not bother him. He just watches the play of Maya. And because he's understood how the game of life happens on earth, he understands how the Maya is playing him around. He is now more equipped to deal with the external world, the external reality, and he knows how to find loopholes in the Maya. So he stays within this Maya and he is above the Maya. This is akin to the lotus flower which grows in the muddy pond. It comes out of the muddy pond, and the flower, when it blooms, it does not have a speck of dirt on it. So, this person being in the muddy pool of the Maya has grown out of it, and now he is blooming and he is not affected by the Maya. This is what happens when the person reaches the Agya Chakra, and this is where the seat of the soul is there. Coming to how I experienced seat of soul. Normally, every person experiences himself or herself as his body. The two hands, the legs, the face. We are totally into the body to such an extent that a normal person thinks that he or she is this body. So I too experienced myself like this before I experienced the seat of soul. My Kundalini, when it was moving between the Vishuddhi chakra and the Agya chakra, and when it gained entry into the Agya chakra, suddenly when I was walking, I could experience this shift within me where I found myself sitting behind my eyes and looking at the world as if these two eyes were like two windows. And I was peeping through these two windows out into the external world. I withdrew from my body and I was sitting inside my head. That was how I experienced the seat of the soul. Say, for example, you're sitting in the top floor of a tall building and you're peeping out of the windows of the tall building. That was how I experienced the body and the external world. I withdrew from my body. My body was intact, it was standing, it was walking while this experience happened. For that brief period where I felt out of balance for a split second, except for that, I was walking around, I was normal, but suddenly I was not present in my body. The body was still moving automatically, but rather I was present inside my head. I was sitting there behind my eyes and I was looking out at the external world through these two eyes. Even these eyes did not feel like my eyes, they felt like two windows. And there was a power inside my head which was watching the external world through these two windows, that was the two eyes. So I even withdrew from my eyes, the physical eyes, but I was still having the power to see. That was a very unique experience, and that was the first time I experienced this phenomena, which is the seat of soul. Generally, when the Kundalini Shakthi gets released from the Muladhara chakra and it starts ascending upwards in your central channel, when it is moving up till the heart chakra, a little above the heart chakra, it does not have a station to stop. So it has to again go down back to the Muladhara chakra. But once the Kundalini reaches the Vishuddhi chakra, this is like a rebirth for the person. The Vishuddhi chakra can provide a station for the Kundalini to stop here. Then the Kundalini does not go down back into the Muladhara chakra. Where your Kundalini Shakti is positioned in your body, your behavior comes from that level. So once the Kundalini is stationed in the Vishuddhi chakra and it does not go down back, you have come out of your older behavioral patterns, the loops. You now understand the world, how it operates at a lower egoic state. You see how people are caught up in lower egoic behaviors, and you prefer to stay away from those behaviors or those situations or from those people. From here, when you progress further spiritually, the Kundalini Shakti starts rising from the Vishuddhi and it starts moving up to your Agya Chakra. But because you have the uh, Rudra Grandhi here, the knot has to be pierced, which is very difficult. The Kundalini keeps moving between the Agya Chakra and the Vishuddhi Chakra. Whilst it is moving between these two chakras, there is a point here called the Manasthana. From here, you can see the contents of your mind. When Kundalini Shakti reaches this point, you can understand how your mind operates. You can understand how your own thinking processes, your own behavioral patterns have caused you suffering, caused others suffering. You're able to see through that. You can understand the falsity of the ego construct that was keeping you in Maya. You gain all this understanding when Kundalini Shakti reaches the Manasthana point. When it goes beyond that and moves into the Agya Chakra, that is the third eye region, when Kundalini Shakti reaches here, you have come to the seat of soul. By the time you come to the seat of the soul, you are now only expressing your authentic self. By the time Kundalini Shakti comes to the Agya Chakra, you are out of your conditioning. Your current behavior does not come from your past memories or from your addictions or from your past behaviors. You take the right decision which is appropriate for the moment, and you are expressing your authentic self to the external world every day. And your ideas, your thoughts, your behaviors, they all find their roots in your authentic self. You express your authentic self alone. And your authentic self is a gift to the external world. This is the pineal gland, the first image. You can see the pineal gland is an organ in a person's head. The pineal gland is connected to your Agya chakra. And the second image, you can see the light emanating from the pineal gland, which happens in certain states of samadhi or bliss states when the pineal gland is very active in these states. So, this is where your seat of the soul is present. Once the person reaches this state, and when he starts moving beyond this state upwards, when the Kundalini Shakti is moving from the Agya Chakra upwards, now this being is getting transformed into a being of divinity, or he is imbibing a lot of divine qualities. He becomes divine in nature from the journey here upwards. At the end of Kundalini awakening process, the person is able to uncover his Jivatma, which is there within him, near his heart. This Jivatma is like a witness. It is not affected by the workings of your mind or your body or your karma. Nothing affects the Jivatma. It is the self which is witnessing you through many lifetimes. It is seeing all your experiences, but it is not getting involved into your experiences. So, this is the Jivatma which we will experience when the Kundalini awakening process reaches culmination. In a normal person, the Kundalini Shakti is coiled 3.5 times and she is sleeping in the Muladhara Chakra. As long as Kundalini Shakti is sleeping in the Muladhara Chakra, the person thinks that the physical body is only reality and the external world as being real. A normal person is covered by malas, that is impurities. First is the Anavamala, the next mala is the Mayaya mala, and the third is the Karma mala. If you think of the universal consciousness as a sea, we each one of us are one drop of that sea. First, we are part of that universal consciousness. We were perfect, we were whole, but now we are separated as a drop from the ocean. Now, this drop thinks it is separate from the ocean. So, the sense of being limited and cut off from the universal consciousness is what constitutes the first impurity or the first mala, which is the anava mala, where we see ourselves separate from the universe, from everything around us. And we are thinking that this separateness is what we are. So we have moved away from the state of being whole to a state of being imperfect. The second mala is the maya mala. We are caught up in maya. The first effect Maya has on each one of us is forgetfulness. Once we are in Maya, we forget from where we have come. We forget our source. We forget our true nature. This Maya keeps us thinking that we are part of this body and this body is what we are. This comes because we are covered by this Maya Mala. So we think we are this limited being in this body in the earthly existence. The third impurity or the mala is karma mala. When this limited being starts expressing itself in the external reality through the cycle of birth and death, we take on karmas. We do good deeds, we do bad deeds, we think we are separate, we become imperfect. And so now we forget our true essence, we forget from where we have come, and now we are operating from the lower egoic state, because of which we do a lot of deeds, good and bad, and we take on a lot of karma. We take on a lot of conditioning, a lot of belief systems, a lot of family history, a lot of the collective history. All this becomes big baggage, karmic baggage on us. So we take on this karmic baggage, and this karmic baggage keeps us caught up in the cycle of life and death. When in the spiritual awakening process, we come out of the karmic baggage, we come out of these behavioral loops, the conditionings we have taken on, and once we come to this level of the seat of soul, we are nearly out of the karma mala and the maya mala. That we can see through the maya, we understand how our ego is trapping us in the maya, and we are able to play in the maya, be in the maya, and not get affected by it. This is liberation, liberation from suffering. And once we come to this state, we start expressing our true self, our authentic self. What is this true self or authentic self I am talking about? Is it the same in every person or is it different? Does every person have the ability to express their authentic self? I'll answer all these questions right now. But before that, we understand that when the consciousness it goes through spiritual evolution or it grows from one stage to the other stage. For example, say when the animals move up the spiritual ladder and they're born as humans, the highest chakra for the animal is the Muladhara chakra. When the animal is living in close proximity to a human, it learns from the humans. It sees how they live. In the next lifetime, its Muladhara chakra opens up and it is born as a human. So, for many lifetimes after that, as a human, this person still carries the memories or the instincts of animal within him. He has not come out of the animalistic nature that he holds within him. This person is very fearful, very territorial. They think they have to fight over food, they have to fight for a mate. They express a lot of cruelty. They do not understand universal values. They do not understand higher emotions like love, selflessness, gratitude, devotion. All these higher states of emotions or very positive emotions are beyond the understanding of this person who is very animalistic in nature. And this person, for many lifetimes, he will live from the lowest chakra, that is the Muladhara chakra. It will take many lifetimes for this person to understand, to learn, and to practice higher emotional values or higher emotional states, maybe thousands of lifetimes. Until then, this person is animalistic in nature. Sometimes it happens without my involvement that I suddenly, when I talk to a person, I look into the eyes, I can see what is happening within their brain. I can see the biochemical responses, the various nerve centers firing within the brain, or I see something inside their head, and this just happens automatically, not that I want to do it, or I can do it if I want to. So when I met few people and when I looked into their eyes, I just saw emptiness behind their eyes, like they had no soul behind those eyes. I was perplexed by this sight and I could not make any sense of it. But now I understand why I saw emptiness behind their eyes. This true state or the authentic state, which I was talking about earlier, this is developed over many lifetimes. It does not happen in one lifetime. This authentic state, you are expressing a very higher state of selflessness or a very higher state of sattvic quality or a divine quality predominantly. If you think of these sattvic qualities or the divine qualities as a spectrum, when a person is spiritually evolved, they have most of those qualities within them, but they express one part of the spectrum predominantly more. Say, for example, one person can express selfless service more as a expression of divine quality. Other person can express creativity more as part of the divine expression, which comes from their authentic self. So this authentic self, it does not happen in one or two lifetimes. This authentic self is an essence of the entirety of our lifetimes. So a person must have moved from his lower animalistic nature through thousands of lifetimes and through his experiences that shaped this entire journey. He creates an inner essence, a soul, which expresses one of those higher qualities within himself. This quality is one of those highest expressions of the divinity. Earlier, I was talking about a person, when I looked into his eyes, or people of his kind, when I looked into their eyes, I saw emptiness behind those eyes. There was no soul inside that person. When I watched this person closely, I noticed that this person was very materialistic in nature. They were very self centered, very selfish. They did not care how their actions affected others. They were totally takers and they had no values. They lived life for money or for fame. They thought their body was real and the external reality is the only reality, and they have to compete constantly with everybody and prove themselves as being worthy of others' respect or others' fear. Many of these kind of people whom I've seen, they did not have a inner core essence. So that is why when I looked into their eyes, I saw emptiness behind their eyes because the seat of soul was empty inside them. They did not have the experience of many different lifetimes to be able to uh, develop a soul which expresses higher qualities or higher emotions. These new souls, which were still animalistic in nature, did not have the experience of many lifetimes which somebody on a spiritual path has. Somebody who's in search of truth, somebody who wants to express their authentic self. A person only can reach this level through many lifetimes of experience or through many lifetimes of growing. In a new soul, they are basically animalistic in nature, and the inner voice of discretion is not working properly. Because they're thinking so much and the ego structure is very strong in the new soul, the voice of discretion or the inner voice is cut off and they cannot hear it. Like how a person who's evolved on the spiritual path can hear this inner voice guiding him or guiding her on the spiritual path. The new soul does not have this capability, or they do not understand that there is something within them which is deep, which is connected to the divine, and they can connect to the divine through this inner discretion and by listening to this inner voice. They do not understand this. They will take many lifetimes to even understand basic concepts of spirituality. The human nature is, we can divide it into three main categories or based on the characteristics it exhibits externally: the sattva, the rajas, and the tamas. A person who is animalistic in nature will display more of the tamasic qualities. And a person who is up in the spiritual ladder and who is moving towards expressing his authenticity is mostly sattvic in nature, or he is exhibiting the sattvic aspect of quality. Somebody who is tamasic in nature, they are lazy, they're greedy, they have a lot of motives, they're very selfish, they can be destructive, they can be abusive. Many of them are delusional. They somehow think they're very special or they're superior to others, or some might feel they're inferior to others. They're indifferent to others' sufferings. They have a lot of poisonous thoughts. They have a lot of fear within them, or they can be withdrawn, they can be ignorant, they can be slow to understand, or they can have many radical ideas which are very selfish in nature. So all these things, they come into the tamasic quality. The next quality is the rajasic quality. Rajasic quality is all about change, all about activity, passion. They all come into rajasic state when we're going out into the external world and working or doing things in relationships. We use a lot of rajasic activity, which can be good or bad. But rajasic activity also binds us to karma, and it creates karmic loops for us. Next comes the sattvic quality. The sattvic quality is the closest to divinity. Sattvic quality is all about being honest, being virtuous, being non judgmental, peaceful, devotional, creativity, being perfect, being kind, compassionate, uh, many different forms of arts like dancing, singing, expressing yourself through all these forms is sattvic quality. Knowledge is sattvic quality. So there are many different qualities which are sattvic in nature. And as I mentioned earlier, when somebody is creating this inner essence, the soul, through many lifetimes, essentially when they move up the spiritual ladder, they start exhibiting a lot of these sattvic qualities. Sattvic qualities are what that help you to move up the spiritual ladder. So once a person reaches a level where he is practicing a lot of sattvic uh, characteristics in his daily life, the Kundalini Shakthi will be in the Agya Chakra. And once it moves into the Agya Chakra, the person starts operating from their true essence. Now, everybody's true essence is different. For example, say, uh, the different types of flowers. The first one is a jasmine flower. It has its own uh, beautiful perfume. And then, say the other flower, say lang lang flower, or say a rose. They all are beautiful flowers, but they're beautiful in their own way, in different way. In the same way, every person who reaches this state of operating from their authentic self or expressing from their authentic self, they all are very beautiful souls, but they are different. They are not of the same quality or the same characteristic. For example, this is Mata Amritanandamayi. She expresses a lot of love. So her inner essence is predominantly love, universal love. She goes around the world hugging everybody, listening to their problems, and she loves every person that comes to her. She has a lot of love to give to people, a motherly figure. So she is expressing that spectrum of divine quality, which is love, as part of a sattvic nature. Now, if you look at uh, the other yogi, that is Ramana Maharshi. Ramana Maharshi used to express the sattvic quality within himself, the core, as knowledge and as perfection. He was complete. When you read his books or listen to his teachings through others, you can very clearly understand that this yogi, the core quality of this yogi was knowledge. He wanted to give knowledge to others so that they can also progress on the spiritual path. So, every person who goes through a Kundalini awakening, or when they go through awakening of the spirit within them, they're getting closer to the core quality. And this core quality gets expressed differently in each person. Some of the examples that a very spiritually evolved soul can, as a part of their authentic expression, have are these qualities. Generally, the person who has reached this level can have all of these qualities, but predominantly one or two will be very dominant in that person. Now, what quality is dominant within you, you will only understand when your Kundalini Shakti reaches the Agya Chakra. If you can understand what your core essence is, which constitutes your soul, even before Kundalini Shakti reaches the Agya Chakra, if you gain an understanding into this, you can speed up your spiritual process. You will understand how Maya is playing you. You will know how your ego is playing you into becoming a part of the lower egoic states. You can understand how your mind is playing games with you. Now, because you're equipped with this kind of understanding, your spiritual progression to the Agya Chakra gets faster. So, how do we go about this? I'll talk about this in my coming few videos, which are part of this series. So, by the end of this series, you will understand what your inner essence or what your inner authentic self is. Your authentic self is a gift to the external world. When you express your authentic self, the world around you is benefited by it. And not only that, when you are living and expressing your authentic self, you are no longer living from your memories or desires or fears or from your past, because of which it is liberating. You do not take on any karma by living from your true nature, because your true nature is an expression of the divine. So, what is the change, that shift that happens within you when Kundalini Shakti reaches the Agya Chakra? Prior to this, we would see every person as a separate unit. You would label the person as good, bad, beautiful, ugly, poor, whatever culture, community. We had a lot of labels when we saw a person, when we spoke to a person, or when we judged a person. But from this level, you will see the humanity as an energy. And you understand that human beings are part of these energetic grids, the different energetic grids, lower energy grids or the lower egoic grids, then you have the higher egoic grids. So people are spread across these energy grids, and you no longer see them as being a part of a particular race or culture or a particular gender, their background. That does not matter to you. You only see them as energy or being as part of an energetic field. You can see how people are caught up in their karmic baggage, how they replay their stories, how they replay their dramas in life, how they are caught up in their loops, how they're not able to come out of it, and how the Maya is playing them and keeping them in that loop so that they do not come out of it. You can see how they are behaving from their desires and fears. Because right now you have that vantage, that point from where you are able to look at people from a higher level. Earlier you were standing at the entrance of the building and you were looking at the people who were walking on the road, but now you are standing on top of the building and you are getting a complete picture of the entire area that you're which is around your building. So your understanding, your view of the world about yourself and others has widened. So you understand the world better, the life better. And now you're not affected by it because you are not operating from your lower egoic nature. The Maya has no effect on you. Your ego, even if it tries to play games with you, you understand it. You can see through it. So it has little to no effect on you. Earlier, we were resistant to pain. We only wanted pleasure. But now, even in painful situations, you see opportunities to learn. You understand that the world is a projection from within you. So, whatever that comes into your life is a part, it is reflecting a part that is there within you. So, if you see something outside in your reality which is not good or which is not right, then you have the understanding to make correction within yourself. When you correct yourself within, then the external uh, undesirable thing, it vanishes from your reality. So you understand that your reality only reflects what is there within your system, and there's nothing beyond that within your reality. So anything good, bad, anything that happens, you are open to every experience because you see every experience as a step to learning and growing further. The other shift I noticed was earlier when somebody would come and talk to me, I would see each person separately as different individuals. But now I don't see each person separately. Rather, I see the complete event as one unit. And I experience it as Maya. It is like Maya is talking to me. It is not that one person. So no matter whom I'm talking to, whether it is good, bad, whether I'm angry or I'm laughing, I'm only doing that with Maya. I understand that. That person is just instrumental there, and that person is expressing the Maya or the system that is there in this third dimension, and that keeps the person trapped in this illusion. That person is just there expressing the Maya. So when I'm interacting with a person, I don't interact with the person, I see it as a total event. And that entire event is the Maya. So that way, every opportunity, you are just talking to this Maya. You understand that this Maya is an illusion. And while this illusion is playing around in your life, even if this Maya throws you painful situations, you understand that you can learn something from it. So you're no longer close to life. You're open to life. You're open to everything good, bad, ugly, because you will benefit anyways. If it's something good, it'll make you feel good. You're happy to receive love. You're happy to receive gratitude from others. And if there's something that is threatening, something that is wrong or bad, you're still using that experience to grow. So you're totally open to life right now. Every moment of life becomes a learning experience. No matter how bad the situation is, you will not see yourself as a victim in the situation, because every situation happens for a purpose and there is something to learn from it. If you put your fears aside and you look directly at the situation as a learning opportunity, when you're operating from the Agya Chakra level, you are alone. You're alone because you can see that people all around you, no matter how much you tell them, they're still operating from the lower three chakras. And you wish that everybody could see the world the way you see it. You wish more people could come up to the level of Agya Chakra. More of them could express themselves from their authentic selves and see how beautiful the world is. How the events, the past, present, and future are connected, and how things work out. You wished everybody had this kind of view towards life. In today's video, I spoke about the malas that we have, the three impurities, the seat of soul and Jivatma, and the difference between both of them, how the soul progresses from the lower animalistic nature to a higher spiritual nature, and the different types of qualities, that is, the sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic qualities a person can display, and how each one of us are different in expressing their authentic self as a part of the divine design. Each one of us predominantly holds one vibration or one part of that divine spectrum. And when we live from that authentic self, we are no longer taking on karma. Our authentic self becomes a boon, it becomes a gift to the external world. And this authentic self helps others also to move up in the spiritual ladder. In my next videos, I'll talk about how you can discover your inner authentic self even before your Kundalini Shakti reaches your Agya Chakra. Thank you.